Now, let's say some of these solopreneurs who are already into their journey, right? There's still pitfalls that we've seen that they make. What are some of the top 3 or 5 that you feel would benefit a solopreneur to avoid?
Yeah, that's a fantastic question. The first one, and I'll list 4 that I have struggled with that I find myself even today sometimes struggling with. The first is delegating way too late in their business and just wearing all the hats. So naturally, when you're starting off, like your only thought process is how do I get the most without putting the least amount of money in, without the least amount of time in, without the least amount of effort in? How can I get the most value or ROI? Naturally, as a way to save money, you want to do everything. You want to produce your own podcast. You want to send out your own email marketing campaigns. You want to run your own Facebook group. You want to post on Instagram. You want to be, you're in sales, you're in accounting, you're in everything, right? You're the one incorporating your documents, like you're doing everything. So I think the first thing that a lot of people struggle with is that they fail to value their own time. Therefore, they hold on to all the pieces of their business because they see delegation as a cost. And they don't really see it as buying back your time. And when you make that distinction of what is an hour worth to you, if it's worth $20 an hour or $2,000 an hour, then if you can delegate a task that costs less than that, you're probably better off doing it. If you're doing a task that costs more than that, you're probably better off keeping it yourself. So like, I think establish an hourly rate for yourself when you're first starting out. You can make it up $100, $200, $500, whatever you want, but establish an hourly rate, and anything below that, definitely delegate. I think another mistake a lot of solopreneurs make when they first start out, even if they're a year or 2 in, is that they still work really hard and not overly smart. And what I mean by that is they again, I want to refer back to that productive thing, right? They stay busy. They've got this massive to-do list of to-do items, none of which are like incredibly revenue generating. So if you have this massive, I think in the book, The One Thing, they talk about the to-do list and then the must-do list. So I think where solopreneurs need to make that distinction is, sure, you could have a to-do list, but what are the 2 or 3 must-do, maybe revenue-generating activities that you should be doing to validate yourself financially? I like this concept of what's your one big focus for the day. In Brian Tracy's book, he calls it eat the big frog, right? Like eat that the most difficult thing first thing in the morning. There's 2 more mistakes that I see over and over again. The third is they underprice themselves because they're pricing based on their own worth, right? Who's going to buy from me? I don't have the credentials. I don't have the history. I've never done this before. So you know what? How's $20 for this? I'm like, $20? It's going to take you 10 hours. Okay. How's $25? Right? It's like entrepreneurs don't know how to price themselves. So typically we price ourselves based on our own self-worth, not really the value that we're generating for your client. Probably one of the easiest ways to raise your rates is just by asking yourself that question. Am I pricing based on my worth or the value to the client? And then the fourth mistake I think a lot of people make, and I still struggle with this from time to time, is that their measurement of success is just financial. So they validate their worthiness, they validate their success based on what's in the bank account or what's coming in every month. And they fail to realize all the beautiful progress that they're making on themselves, on the mindset, all the relationships they're building, all the seeds they're planting, all the new ways that they've stretched themselves in the last 30 or 40 days, and not letting the bank account be the sole determining factor of your success. And that's something I struggled with as well.
Yeah, exactly. Choosing the wrong metric for success. And usually, and we know this, you and I both know this, money is not a motivator, right? Yeah. So don't use money as a motivator. Well, on the flip side, what are the top 3 or 5 things a solopreneur should do to ensure success? What should they implement? And an easy cop out is to say the opposite of what you said are pitfalls. So I'm gonna put it on you that let's talk about some strategies that they can implement for success.
Absolutely. So one strategy is think about what you feel your competitors are doing and do the opposite. So let me tie that back to JUBE. One of the biggest keys of my success in my entire business was hosting these human connection dinners. Nobody was really doing them. It was a foreign concept. It sounded a bit weird and unique. Some people thought it was spammy. They were like, what do you mean I'm going to pay to come to this dinner? Who's this Karan guy I've never heard of? People would literally send me $100 on Eventbrite and have never met me before. because I was like, hey, we're going to do this dinner. So like I started doing things that created a conversation. So in your business, think about your version of a dinner. Maybe it's a dinner, maybe it's something else, but how can you shake the boat a little bit and do something that's conversation worthy? That's the reason why I've been able to do 184 dinners, is because people leave these dinners and they tag their friends in the videos. They tell their employees, they tell their friends, they tell their entrepreneur buddies saying, hey, you got to do one of these dinners. So I always have this like Rolodex of people who want to come to a dinner. The second thing I would say is, where can you add more human elements to your business? I'm a huge fan of audio and video messaging. I have instilled audio and video messaging in so much of my sales, in the way I prospect, in the way I deliver customer experience and customer success, in the way I run my Facebook group. I'm a very, human-based business. So if you have a business where you care about relationships and you want to go deep with clients and with prospects, ask yourself, hey, when the prospect gets an order confirmation email, what if I sent them a video email instead? What if it wasn't just a receipt? What if it was a 2-minute GIF of you going and just waving? Like, how can you stand out? How can you make your emails forward worthy? And I like to think about my business, like, where in my business can I introduce little aspects of magic that are forward worthy? And for me, my video emails do get forwarded among a company. I think I've shared with you that I sent this one email to a director of sales who gets pitched 50 times a day. And he sent my video email to 20 other leaders across Canada saying, this is the type of prospecting we need, which is what got me a pretty sweet contract back then. So I just like to do things a little bit differently, and it's free, right? Adding more customer experience via video is virtually free. Creating something conversation worthy in your business is virtually free. You just need to be able to like step off that beaten path and do something a little bit differently.